To the tribe locally and the tribe worldwide, it's Big Chief checking in, the sartorial tobacconist, aka Jackson. Stack the bread, stacking their bread to make sure I stay ahead. And you're now tuned in to the Rolling Hour. Yes, Lord. And today is going to be a conversation around fashion and its unique connection to the tobacco industry. And of course, my name is a sartorial tobacconist. Sartorial meaning well-dressed and well-tailored. And I damn sure fit the description. So before we get a chance to get into that and to our conversation for today, I want to make sure I light up, you know what I'm saying, and keep y'all laced up with some of the cigars that I'm a huge fan of. So I got me some wine, again, huge wine fan. Really love some wine. It's been a good day, good Saturday. And I'm smoking today the Drew Estate Year of the Rat. And if you know me, y'all know how fond I am of Jonathan Drew and what he's built over there at Drew Estates, one of my favorite cigar makers of all time. And he's been a very instrumental part of my journey. So the Year of the Rat debuted in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, at the Drew Estate Lounge at BB&T Center. That's the home of the Florida Panthers. You know what I'm saying? It's a Connecticut broadleaf, Brazilian binder, I believe, Nicaraguan and Honduran fillers. Definitely a full body cigar in my opinion. Gives some dark cocoa, coffee notes. A very, very quality cigar. I think it retails at about like $20. So it's the Year of the Rat. So the details are nice, wrapped in gold foil. I love the flat pigtail style right here. It's, you know, it's my signature when I'm rolling cigars live. So it's a very, very good cigar, and it's a beautiful one for today's conversation as we talk about a little bit of luxury and fashion. So I'm gonna cut in like that, take off the gold foil. Beautiful, beautiful cigars in a Corona size, man. That's one of my favorite Vitolas. So I'm gonna light up, you know what I'm saying, and pull up. And I hope y'all ready to take a beautiful, beautiful ride with me on today. Yes, Lord. Let me take my headphones off, man, so I can really hear the atmosphere in the room. You know what I mean? So let's cut in like this, man. I hope y'all day been going good, brother. Hope y'all day, brothers and sisters, hope y'all day has been going swell. Mine's been good, cool Saturday, man. Got a chance to catch up on some good reading, you know what I mean? That's always good. Normally I spend my Saturdays, if I'm not busy, not working weddings or corporate functions or anything, or making cigars for some clients that I'm doing that. Oh, man, on the wine today, again, I'm finishing up this bottle, man, of the Alusa Cabernet Sauvignon, Napa Valley 2012. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful wine. Beautiful, beautiful wine. Love a lot. Woo, that's good. That's good. Let's light up our cigar so we can get into the conversation. I hope y'all lighting up some good stuff too, man. You know, every day should be a day where you romanticize yourself a little, man, and have some delectables, man, some things you may want to try. And I hope that y'all getting that in. Hope that y'all getting that in. Mm-hmm. Room note is very, very pleasant. Now, ironically, man, this is my first time having this. I had a couple of them set up for a while. I've caught a couple other special edition anniversary cigars, but I've had these set up for quite a while, man. And I got this particular batch, man, from my brother, man, Drew Estate Rayford. Shout out to my brother Rayford, man, part of the Drew Estate family, rep there. Now he's like the national accounts director. So shout out to Rayford, man, for hooking me up with these some time ago. So let's get into the dialogue for today. The tobacco industry representing opulence, decadence, you know what I'm saying, the lavish tapestry of life, and how that merges into the cigar lifestyle, the tobacco lifestyle, and making this experience just that much more fun. And for me, of course, again, I'll mention again, I'm the sartorial tobacconist. So when I say sartorial tobacconist, well-dressed, well-tailored, another word for dandy, if you will, tobacconist, I'm a well-dressed tobacconist. And fashion plays a huge part in my brand. Huge. So some background on me. In college, went to school for rhetoric or speech, and had a minor in theater, so a thespian, costume design particularly. So I spent a lot of time in college doing regional stage productions for like regional theaters. I've, got a chance to attend Broadway shows, off-Broadway shows, and I'm just a fan of costume design. And although people sometimes get costume and fashion and style confused, I believe, or kind of intertwined with each other, but they all kind of play a thing. So when I think of costume, I think more of like time periods, that really set the tone or set the place, which I believe costume and my outlook on costume has helped me build a brand where fashion has helped be a standout piece for the lifestyle and for what I do. Because in most kind of conversations, a lot of times I get a lot of comments. Oh man, I really love your outfits. I really love what you be putting together. I really love your style dichotomy and how you piece everything together. And it has made me, to my own thoughts and it's the thoughts of others, I'm one of the freshest people in the tobacco industry. You know what I'm saying? And outside of it. And outside of it. And that helps me. It has helped me a lot because it made me stand out. It's a conversation piece. It's a method of speaking to my travels, speaking to my cultural experiences, broadening assignments in my life from my different travels, whether that was the military, working in corporate America, my cigar travels as being a business person or entrepreneur in the space, speaks to my heritage, me being from Mississippi, some signature things, of course, always being three-pieced up, or the people seeing me now in my more Western or Southern Western cowboy gear, farmer gear, and how that looks and how that portrays and speaks to my cultural narrative. I think all of those things really, really help. And when I think about that and how fashion plays a huge part in brands' longevity, lounges longevity, and the type of allegiances that the patrons take to certain brands, is a big thing to consider. But then also on the consumer side, when you go into certain lounges and stuff, you be starting to think like, okay, when I go visit that lounge more like a sports bar where, people kind of wear whatever, baseball cap, tennis shoes, it's a lot of dancing, it's loud, it's pretty hectic, it's really lively, and that's fun. That's the vibe that they're going for, where they tailor their outfits to these types of things. And one of the, it's a couple cigar festivals, in the Black community that I really, really love because they offer the patrons over a course of the week different type of vibes, black tie vibes, 90s parties, inside award shows, galas, it's a lot of different types of vibes where you can kind of see how fashion moves these types of events. And that is Atlanta Cigar Week and Houston Cigar Week. Those two cigar weeks in the Black community, I feel like encapsulates the Black experience through different motifs and how style influences those particular environments. And that's something I want to speak to because I believe as you are enjoying your cigar experience, finding out the culture style-wise will help you get a good, pulse, for what type of experience you may be in for, And that's beautiful. Like I've traveled, when I got a chance to roll cigars at the Chateau in Farmington, Pennsylvania, inside of the Hardy Room. This is one of the most prestigious type of resorts and cigar lounges in the world, not just necessarily in the Americas. And we talking about like 8-figure resort goers, 7-figure resort goers who take their time to vacation here, where the watches is now Audemars, Rolexes, Cartiers. The shoes are, French, and the quality of the garments change, and the type of garments that get highlighted. Fashion is kind of ebb into that, and I think in the cigar industry that's a mode, and certain brands even cater to these types of clientele. When you start thinking Davidoff, for the people who may not have known, man, that's who made Cool Water. So for anybody who ever wore Cool Water, and I'm from the South, man, every unk around had Cool Water on. I love Cool Water. It's actually one of the first colognes I took from my uncle to spray on myself. My Uncle William had some Cool Water, and I had to cop that, and I swear to God, when I went to school, I felt like I was a P, right? But then that company, did Cool Water and still does perfumery and things like that, but came over to be like one of the Rolls Royce brands of the cigar community, and to take that design component, that fashion component, and bring it into the premium cigar space. Let you think, okay, it's aspirational. Okay, when I'm smoking a Davidoff, I'm in my Brooks Brothers suit, or I'm in my Kyrie's custom suit. I got my nice pair of Gators on, or my monk straps, or for my sisters, my nice pair of Louboutins, or a Vera Wang dress, and some of my Fenty makeup, for my sisters. When you're thinking about that, it kind of dictates the experience that people are trying to have while they partaking in certain stuff. And I believe it's a feel-good thing. But even when we start thinking of like streetwear, it allows me to shamelessly plug the sponsor of today's video in the Rolling Hour podcast. That's the Backwoods brand, the home team. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we back with the LA packs and everything. When you start thinking of hip hop and street style, then even when you smoking cigars in that environment, you start thinking about certain hip hop icons like the festivals, Rolling Loud, Lemon Pepper Wet, Dreamville Fest, where the different people are repping their sides of town. You're starting to see East Coast fashion, West Coast fashion, Atlanta fashion, New Orleans fashion. That's not necessarily, you got to think about super aristocratic, but more of that lavish, posh street style, that everyday look that you can kind of catch with some very popular brands like Kith and Leon Dore, and in New Orleans we got Saint Michelle, we got Heme Adisa, we got M-Line. In Mississippi we got Dirty Hearts, we got Closed Minded, and then whatever brands that resonate with you in your local area that's kind of tapped into the pulse of the people. And I think that's a very, very big thing. All right, and so for my new smokers, again, when I started talking about the who, what, when, where, and why, like in my previous episode, those types of things, if you picking up on this and you wanna get into the cigar community as like a broadening assignment, if you will, and you trying to grow your network and you want to share some different conversations with like minds, build your book of business, keeping in mind what's the vibe of where you're going, who you're speaking with, the occasion in which you're speaking with, and the lounge, hotel, bar, golf course, resort in which you will be attending. Read the room. And the best way to read the room is to read the fashion. Man, look up on social media to see these places where I plan on attending, what type of people frequent here, what is the attire of the people here, what kind of vibes do they bring off, what is the culture of the lounge, and then try your best to complement and add to. I think that's some good advice as you try to insert yourself. Be yourself, but also bring something to yourself, bring something to the establishment in respects to yourself, but also into respects of the culture of the existing venue. And I think it's a good way to kind of shine the light. Some people who, when I think of certain types of fashion, man, Michael Erklox, who was the president of Nat Sherman before he purchased it, and now those blends that he helped blend are now his at Ferrotego. Michael Erklox is one of the most fashionable men inside of the premium cigar space. And when you think of, I don't even think that people think about how consciously He considers his wardrobe is very posh, Wall Streeter, banker, mafioso, if you will. And I don't know if he likes that type of stuff, but I'm just giving descriptions. Where when I think about his attire and his aesthetic and how that makes people relate to his brand, I think when you think of that everyday New York Jersey hustle, the getting to the stock market for the stock market bell rings or closes, getting to that Upper Manhattan private club like the Macanudo Club or something similar like that, or like how he used to run the flagship location for the Nat Sherman brand. You start thinking about the icons and stuff who that brand catered to, and now where he's at the helm of it and ownership and it's his now, where he's pushing it to. And Michael Erklock's his style profile is those gaudy blues, that sharp navy, the pinstripes, the soft gray. He never really goes too crazy with the colors. It's normally a pop of the tie or a pop of the pocket square, or the way he wears his hair, or the type of beard profile that he maintains, his shoe choices, his fabric choices from whoever his tailor is. Those type of things speak to things that are very important. His signet rings that he wears, it's a level of opulence that speaks subtly to the potential clientele. So when I'm smoking a Ferrotego, man, listen, dog, I'm suited and booted. I'm suited and booted. And then like today I'm smoking Drew Estate. So when you start thinking about that same thing, that graffiti culture, that hip hop, that underground music, you start thinking the fitty cap, the Timberlands, you know what I'm saying, the cool hip hop X brands. So somebody may be thinking like, okay, man, I'm a huge Kef fan, I want to wear that, or I'm a huge Amin Leon Dore fan, or I'm a huge Dapper Dan fan of the old Harlem, and Brooklyn and Queens, and you want to kind of bring that type of thing to the table. That walking street photography that you see in New York, that New York is very famous for, the land of the hustlers, man. When I smoke a Drew Estate, man, I'm always thinking about graffiti. I'm always thinking about hip hop and the breakdancing culture and the substance of what we know to be hip hop. The struggle, the revolutionary speech. And then if you get to know Drew, he's a huge art collector. He's into the storytelling of times past, and even where he calls home in Wynwood in Miami, it's like that's a place that absolutely speaks to that type of environment. Because even when I got a chance to see him, I saw him in Wynwood and around Ellen Kett, who used to do huge person for Complex, man, graffiti museum, and how fashion influenced that. And if you always kind of catch Drew Estate at they PCA setups and different things like that, it's always that hat tilt, to the glory days and the budding rise of hip hop. And I think that's a cool way to allow its customers and the patrons of the brand to interact. So you always catching the swanky cool kids, man, and the OGs who, they love that type of fashion. They love that, the old Ice-T, the old, Cool J, those types of things, the 90s fashion. You catch a lot of that inside of the commentary. You can find, like my boy Rayford, man, 3-piece suit up, fresh beard, man, with the red and black and white Jordan 1s, man. You always catching Rayford in some fresh kicks, and I think that's the culture of the place. And I think fashion influences this in ways that people don't think about and don't consider. So for even my people now that are thinking about coming up with brands, whether that's a MMC category, like you thinking you want to be the next Backwoods, or you want to make something for the luxury cannabis culture, or you starting a new cigar brand and you trying to find a beautiful way to kind of set some cultural boundaries in place, some precepts where people can kind of follow your narrative, is your style of dress. If you someone getting into the community, you a young tobacconist and you want people to kind of find your identity and where you locked in at, then it's through your fashion. And for me personally, I'm all about the vintage stuff. I'm a huge fan of the Alexandrian era in fashion, man. I love the Edwardian era in fashion, man. And for me, being from Mississippi, it's the land of the pimps and players, man. Mississippi, the birthplace of America's music. So the music started moving, the blues. So when you start thinking of the blues, you start thinking about juke joints. You start thinking about the comb over. You start thinking about the classic fedoras. You know, like places like in New Orleans right now with jazz and blues and all of this type of stuff is really popping. Then you go to places like Mayor the Hatter. You know what I'm saying? And this is an old hat. The name tag is in here for Mayor the Hatter. You know, has been open, man, since probably like the early 1900s. You know what I'm saying? And my great grandfather went to Mayor the Hatter in New Orleans back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So you start thinking of the type of vibe, the feng shui. But I'm also a country boy, man. So you will see me do the three-piece with the vest and the pocket watch and the cowboy hats and the glasses, lanyards, and the eel or caiman skin boots, you know what I'm saying, bootleg cut stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's my type flavor. You know, people who done seen Centers and stuff now like, oh man, you should have been in Centers, you know, where it's speaking to the juke joints, it's speaking to those places where we got a chance to galvanize, where, you know, Red Dead Redemption, like the video game, where those types of motifs is popping. And I'm always in my fashion tilting my hat to olds past. Like even right now with the new collection from Ralph Lauren, we talking about the going to Martha's Vineyard for the summer and where black people were allowed to go. We created our own space where we were at in Martha's Vineyard, and you start seeing that talented 10th with the, you know, clubhouse attire, you know, the cardigan sweaters. Like right now I'm wearing some Ralph Lauren. Right now I'm wearing a purple label Ralph Lauren cashmere sweater, the good kind. Shout out to Uncle Larry. And you know what I'm saying, and how fashion influences that. But currently, you know, of course, I got the collar, got the, you know, the tie bar on the collar, you know what I'm saying, paisley tie, you know what I'm saying, my Italian twine watch, you know what I'm saying, a old Italian hat, man. I think this hat, man, is Barcelona, made in Italy, man, has been getting made in Italy since 1857, man, in Alexandria. And this hat right here is probably, you know, new would probably been close to $1,000, you know what I'm saying? But I thrifted it and was able to get it, you know what I'm saying, for a couple hundred, but not as much as the original cost. But that's how I shop. All of the classic stuff, man. So when you're thinking about it, when I think about going to certain occasions where you go and participate in certain cigars, like when I'm smoking for my birthday, normally every year for my birthday, I have a Padron. I don't even smoke Padrons year round because to me, Padrons are a celebratory thing. You know, like I normally smoke Padrons on my birthday every year and have been doing it since I've been smoking cigars. And I look forward to every year to pick up a Padron on my birthday, because when I think about the Padron brand, I think of heritage, I think of birthright, I think of tradition, I think of old opulence, you know what I mean? Where the family name holds value, you know what I mean? And normally when I'm doing that, I'm always having something super nice on. Or normally I'm bringing out my Gators that I done had up for all year, and it was the perfect occasion to bring them out. Or I bring out my nice hat. I bring out my El Presidente Stetson cowboy hat. You know what I'm saying? I bring out that crushed cashmere coat or that goat suede blazer or vest. You know what I'm saying? That silk tie. You know, or I bring out one of the custom suits I got from K-Co to bring out to monument those occasions when I'm smoking certain brands. Like even today, when I'm smoking the Year of the Rat, which I told you is very a hip-hop brand, but then now you start to see that luxury of the Chinese culture and how that influences in the gold accents, where I pulled out a nice glass of wine. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting really nice and celebrating the achievements that's going on. Man, I think we should have more fun with this, and fashion is a huge part. It's been the thing that has separated me from my peers in a way to quickly identify who I am and what I got going on. When we think of notable figures outside of the premium cigar space on the business side or something, we start thinking about that signature looks. And the best person to look at is like a person like Michael Jordan, where, you know, he was always smoking cigars when he won the championship. But you can also catch Mike at the golf course with some of the hardest fashion that the 90s could present. old school Denzel, you know what I'm saying? Eddie Murphy at the time. You know, when you start thinking, even if you into hip hop heavy, Suge Knight, you only never really seen Suge not smoking a cigar. And these days, you catching brothers like Ruben Studdard, you know what I'm saying? Huge cigar fan, American Idol winner, you know what I'm saying? A good brother, you know what I'm saying? Styling and profiling, having a cigar all the time. You were catching my brother Marvin Jones III. I know a lot of us in the premium cigar community are very familiar with brother Marvin having a cigar. You know what I'm saying? He loves a cigar. Shout out to the Bearded Cigar. Y'all can catch him in some of his reviews on YouTube. You seeing Chase Infinite, my brother Chase, man, fashion lore god. You know what I'm saying? Laced in his exquisite Japanese denim fabric, and his, you know, and he's a savant on all things lifestyle. A manager for Playboy Cardi, ASAP Rocky, Mos Def, Westside Gun, Conway. You know what I'm saying? And the sartorial tobacconist, you know what I'm saying? Got to throw myself up in there because I'm in the mix of good company. You dig what I'm saying? Those brothers, man, very, very style forward. DJ D Nice, you know what I'm saying, who dropped the collection earlier. You know, you got people like October London on the R&B side who has some good style. You was thinking about people like Cam Newton, where I've rolled cigars for Cam numerous of times. That's the OG, that's my friend, that's my brother. Shout out to Boog, man. You know what I'm saying? They always styling and profiling. You can catch them on Funky Fridays or 4th and 1. Those types of funk sways is always available. And I can go on and on and on and on. And then that's just men. But if we start talking about the sisters, we start thinking about, you know, Cigars with M. Shout out to Michelle. We start thinking about Octavia, her aficionado. We start thinking about BB, saying who runs the Red Phone booth in Miami. We can start thinking about a lot of different sisters who really be putting that shit on, man. Really putting on with the fashion, and the fashion influences the mood of the people around them. The montage on which the events is being celebrated, and I think that's a very, very, very important thing, man. Get your fashion up. Get your fashion up. It's one of the easiest things you can do to increase your gravitas. You know what I'm saying? To increase your gravitas. You know, I know one thing for certain and two for sure. Anytime I'm gonna enter a room, I am going to be one of the freshest people in there. And that's not everything, but it's a first impression. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that speaks to my Southern values. Coming from a lot of things that I come from, you know, and the narrative of being from the South, being well dressed is one of those most important things that can just take something off your plate that you don't have to worry about. But it also puts you into the position where you always in a position to have the dialogues that you want to have and cultivate an experience. So the next time you start getting dressed and you thinking like, hey man, what I'm finna wear today? Normally how I go about it is I put my phone on shuffle, and what the first set of songs that come on, that's how I'm picking my fit. If that's blues, I'm probably coming to calm mode. If it's some country music, I'm going to cowboy thing. If it's some hip hop on some P type vibes, I'm on my P campaign. That may be an introduction of a cool bag, a cool watch, first pair of glasses, a certain pair of shoes, even a signature cologne. All of the five senses are engaged. So then after I done figured out the audio listening experience that has cultivated what I'm gonna wear or think about wearing, I done picked out the fabric I'm wearing, the haberdashery, the tapestry, if you will, that has influenced what I'm gonna eat now, that has influenced where I'm gonna go that day, if I'm gonna have a Coke or I'm gonna have a espresso martini, and then that also leads to me making my final choice on what I'm gonna smoke while the vibe is going on. And that's a sensory experience, encapsulating all five senses. Again, that who, what, when, where, and why. And then that's where I make my cigar selection. And normally my cigar selection is my last thing that I make because it's the button on top. It set my affirmations, you know what I'm saying, in order for today. If it's a get money day, I want to get money cigar. If it's a business meeting, I want that. If I want something to speak to the cologne I chose today, Everything complements each other. And fashion makes you think everything is connected. It's like when I was watching the Karate Kid last night, and they said that everything is kung fu. Everything is fashion. Everything is fashion. Fashion is my brand. Cigars is my lifestyle. It's my product. It's my birthright. It's my heritage. But fashion is my brand. And your choice of fashion, you know what I'm saying, matters. My grandma would say, it ain't what you know or who you know, it's what it looked like. And what it looked like helps you curate who you know. What it looked like helps you curate who you know. Because sometimes people just walk up on you because they catching you outside, you know what I'm saying, in Manhattan, walking through Soho, or you down in Times Square, you smoking a cigar with that shit on, and somebody like, I got to see who this person is, so they hit you. I was on the subway, and I was fresh as hell, man, shooting some content for the Backwood brand, and somebody was like, hey, bro, you make music, you a rapper? Like, no, I'm a cigar maker. And they was like, a cigar maker? Because most people didn't have an opportunity. They never met a cigar maker. They don't know any cigar makers. So they're like, put me on. What is a cigar maker? Like, what kind of cigars you make? You know what I'm saying? Even people who don't smoke cigars, and they allowed me to speak to people who don't partake in these. But then when I said, hey, I'm the tobacconist for Backwoods, they know who Backwoods was. They're like, oh, damn, you know, you somebody. And indeed I am. But that's what the message I wanted to leave with y'all today. You know what I'm saying? Fashion as a lifestyle. Fashion plays a huge part in the selection of my cigars. It plays a huge part in how I blend my cigars. It helps me decide how I'm gonna show up to a function, how I'm gonna show up to a wedding, everything. My entire experience is fashion first. Fashion first, because the best way to compliment somebody is to treat their occasion worth dressing up for. And everybody like well-dressed people. Everybody do. And it's your way to speak without speaking. And fashion brands, you know what I'm saying? Although Michael Erklox would say that he's a cigar maker, right? He's a fashion tastemaker first, though. His fashion has influenced his brand and influenced the patrons of it. Another well-dressed brother that's one of my OGs, I love him dearly, is Sean Williams of El Primo Mundo. You know what I'm saying? First black cigar company to make it past in the big leagues, but also, you know, is one of the blenders for Cohiba and the ambassador for the Cohiba brand. And when you think of Cohiba, you think of decadence, luxury, timeless, and dedication, patience, you know what I'm saying? Elegance. You know what I'm saying? And that brother is forever timeless. But most of the time when you catch Sean, man, Sean spiffed up. I'm tall. I'm 6'4", you know what I'm saying? Sean gotta be like 6'5", 6'6", I think. You know what I'm saying? Athlete, OG, very much a savant. His fashion speaks before he even opened his mouth. It helps with his decorum. Even his blends that he put together speak to that level of opulence. You know what I'm saying? And my grandma would call it, we all got that peacock or that ostentatious presentation. And the old saying goes that conversation rules the nation. And fashion and your choice of garments that you layer your body with, you know what I'm saying, sparks those conversations that can either make or break your life. So next time you walk into a lounge, just think about it. Where I'm going today? Am I meeting today? Am I just kicking it today? Am I trying to go meet somebody to close some business? Am I having some fun? Am I doing some networking? Am I closing the deal? You know what I'm saying? What am I doing today? What's my agenda? Where am I planning on eating today? You know what I'm saying? What kind of car I'm driving if you're one of the ones who got some options out there? You know what I'm saying? What music is on my spirit today? Is it some new music that dropped that I'm really can't wait to dive into? And then let that guide your decision when you walk up into a lounge and you talk with a tobacconist or the owner of the space when you curating something. You like, hey man, show me to some brands, man, that speak to opulence, that speak to heritage, that speak to decadence, you know what I'm saying, and luxury. And your tobacconist should be able to guide you to some of those brands that's their motif as well. And then you will feel better about your total experience, man. And it'll help you bring some of those prayers and some of those ambitions to life, because you meeting the spirit of magnetism with all of the five senses that the Most High granted you with. And that's my bar for the day. That's my bar for the day. That's my bar for the day. And I hope that y'all enjoy my short little spiel on fashion, you know what I'm saying, and its connection to cigars. And I'm gonna be doing this for the first couple of episodes, because I never did no how-to videos. I never did any of those types of videos. So what I'm doing right now is just setting the tone for the type of person I am and how I think, you know what I'm saying, as we build and compound on some of these conversations. And I hope y'all enjoying the ride. This is episode 2, you know what I mean? And I'm glad to have y'all. And we'll get a chance to start getting into some more in-depth videos. Right now, man, this cigar is everything I thought it was, man. With the wine, man, it's definitely giving me some nice olives. Love olives, love olives, love olives. Definitely some olives, some dark pepper, probably some 40%. More 70% cacao chocolate, you know what I'm saying, that I'm really, really finding. Very clean on the retro head, very autumn, winter type of smell. Would do well. The smoke draped over top of some of my cologne, probably if I had to pick, it'd probably be like Creed Centurious, that this cigar would probably absolutely just help bring out some of the natural smells from that cologne, which I think would be really well on some terry cloth or a nice tweed garment, or even some crushed cashmere. Right now, I think this sweater gonna smell immaculate once I hang it up. They be like, oh, this is perfect. And I think about that when I think about the cigars that I'm smoking. So shout out to Drew Estate, man, with the Year of the Rat, man. Beautiful, beautiful cigar. Shout out to Jonathan Drew. Shout out to my dog Rayford. Shout out to Ernie, man, and the whole Drew Estate family over there. And shout out to the Backwoods brand for sponsoring the Rolling Hour podcast. You know, and before I depart, if ain't nobody told you they love you today, I love you. You know what I'm saying? If you fighting with principalities and trying to get yourself together, do what the Negro scholar Andre 3000 and the legendary Pimp C said, man. Keep your heart 3 stacks. You know what I'm saying? Chase your dreams, man. Live your life. Have a cigar. Smile, be merry, enjoy yourself, and live your life to the fullest, and take some risk on yourself, man. It's the best bet you can make. Again, I'm your host of the Rolling Hour, Chief of New City Amin Ra, and you know where I hail from, the north side of the Jack, Presidential Hills to be exact. You know what I'm saying? Stay up, stay fresh, stay smoky. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Lord. See y'all next time.